All fired up! We're back. We're going to do this a little different than we've done in the past. Got my crew with me. I'll introduce them in a minute. This show is going to be a little different than we normally do because there's a lot going on in the world, a lot going on in sports. All Fired Up is a sports podcast. It's also a comedy show. We try to keep it light here. We don't want to take light of what's happening. As one of the leaders of All Fired Up, I always want to be on the right side of history. We stand on the right side of history. I'm going to make that very clear. But I also want to give people something different than what's on ESPN and Fox Sports and all the other channels right now that's really been hijacked by politics. And we're not going to go political in this episode at all. We're going to talk sports to get your minds off of it. We stand behind the good side of everything going on right now. That's all I'm going to say. One thing that's really gotten me riled up, Nate McMillan got fired this week. And I told you I was okay with Brett Brown getting fired. I thought he should get fired. He deserved it. And within 8 hours of our last show, Jordan, you said he deserved it. You didn't think they'd do it. Elton Brand pulled the plug right away on him, which I think was a great move. But I think they're going to pull the plug on Elton Brand. That's just my personal opinion. Nate McMillan. Now, that team was not good when he took over. They were a bottom feeder. He got Victor Oladipo, who was a throw-in and a trade for Paul George. Now, he turned Victor Oladipo into an all-star guard in a league where it's hard to be an all-star guard these days. Nate McMillan was good. He was a good player when he was with Seattle. Jordy, you remember that? Days shooting guard with the Sonics. He's been a great coach in the NBA at every stop. He's not gotten over the hump. I get that. But this Indiana team has been to the playoffs 4 years in a row. It's not that easy to go to the playoffs 4 years in a row, even in the East in the NBA. Granted, his record is 3-21 or 3-18. He's not winning a lot of games. He took Cleveland to 7 games one year, and then other than that, he's gotten swept in every series. With that being said, what more could he have done, especially this year? They lost their number 2 player. So they had Oladipo coming off an injury. And nobody, I can't even name more. Miles Turner is their next best player. I don't even know who they, Jordan, maybe you could tell me more, but I don't even know who their next best player is. But this guy getting fired is everything that's wrong with basketball and sports to me. Like, if you just need a new voice in there, what are they going to do with the same players? Like, this coach did not deserve to get fired. I don't think he's going to get hired right away because when you get fired after things like this, it's not that easy just to get a head coaching job. The Ty Lues, the Jason Kidds, I mean, these guys were big names. They didn't get head coaching jobs right out of this. I highly doubt he is, and I think he's a deserving. He's put his time in. Jordan, what do you think of this? As a former Sonic shooting guard there, Nate McMillan, what do you think of that firing?
Well, similar to how a lot of people viewed the Arizona Cardinals a couple years ago, I think that job, not initially, but it became a place where this is something that we would do to make your stock relevant. And now that you're relevant, you can go land a solid job elsewhere. And I think what the Pacers did, yeah, they thought he'd be a good fit, and he was a good fit, but now that job wasn't desirable when he took that job, in my opinion. Now the job is desirable. So because of that, we can probably get better coaching now. I'm not saying he was a bad coach, but I'm sure it's a desirable place now. So you know, the Jason Kidds of the world, all that, hey, well, I'll take him, but not saying he's bad, which is the sad part. It's really – like they kind of did him dirty, but at the same time, it's a business, and I completely understand it. It's a very desirable job now. Now they can get a better coach.
Very desirable. Indiana with Oladipo and Sabonis. I don't know if it's very desirable.
TJ Warren, yeah.
Clax, they gave him a 1-year extension and then fired him.
I don't appreciate that giving him an extension and then how long later, all of a sudden firing him? It was a couple of weeks later.
It was during the bubble they gave him the extension.
Yeah, it's just, it's, here you go. Psych.
I don't know.
Oh, you got swept? Sorry about that. Just kidding.
But, there are and that's the thing. I don't think they're going to get Jason Kidd or Ty Lue, or one of these big name coaches. I don't.
Why is that? Why is it Jason Kidd's name just keeps coming up? Jason Kidd, Jason Kidd, Jason Kidd. And why is Jordan smirking when I say Jason Kidd?
I mean, Jason Kidd was good for his year with what it was 1 year with the Nets, and then he went to Milwaukee, and everyone said he's the one who basically got Giannis on that squad, and he's the one who started priming him to be the MVP.
But
so
everybody,
Giannis is another guy who swears by him, and if he goes to a team and Giannis is a free agent.
but everybody brings up Jason Kidd's name like he's just like this miracle worker, like he's gonna go somewhere and just make magic happen.
People love point guards, and like something when he played.
Yeah, like he's gonna be Steve Kerr's next coming.
Well, everyone said when he was playing, he's going to be a great head coach one day. The way he thinks, the way he, that's like kind of what you always heard, like Marv Albert screaming out on, NBC basketball on Saturdays. I don't know. That's just what you always heard. I think Brett Brown, though, that's another guy. He's not getting hired right away. And the Sixers are the team that I think that's where you want to go. You don't want to go to Indiana. You want to go to the Sixers or the Nets. Those are the two. Or even the Pelicans. I'd go to the Pelicans before going to Indiana.
Wow.
So that was – I mean, come on. John, what do you think about this? I mean –
I think, underperforming for 4 years in a row. They don't want to blame the players. So
wait. Underperforming 4 years in a row, or have they overperformed 4 years in a row? But they're expected to be in the second, third, or finals the last couple of years.
No way.
Yeah. That's what.
Yeah. Like, are they supposed to be better than Boston, Toronto, Philly? Milwaukee, Cleveland the past 8 years before LeBron left. Like, no.
I just think the coach is a scapegoat for losing seasons.
Yes.
I think they let him go too early. And that's all. Like, I just think that they need to place the blame somewhere. So they're like, oh, okay, we lost again. So we're going to get rid of the coach when it's not completely on his shoulders. So.
No, I think it's very little on his shoulders. But you know what? This kind of leads into what we've been getting some feedback from last episode, and everyone's talking about our Fired Up 4 we did. And since that's the case, I figure we're going to start off with that. We're going to go right into it. NFL, top of the show. We need to get some NFL love in. We haven't been talking. I know I don't think the season's going to happen, but I do think it's going to start. I've changed my thoughts, Jordan. I think it's going to start. I just don't think it's going to finish. But I think it's going to start. NCAA not happening at all. NFL happening. No fans, though. No fans to start. Let's go with some top NFL coaches. Which one of you gentlemen wants to start with your top four? I mean, should we just – do you all have Belichick number one? Okay, so that's Jordan. Okay, so Belichick's off. Let's go four others other than Belichick because we know Belichick's the GOAT. So I want to go four other than Belichick.
That's great. My honorable mention gets
I'm happy about that too.
Just got knocked up. I love it.
So did mine, and that's why I did it. Joey Clax, I want your list first. You got an honorable
All right.
He's now number 4. Let's go.
Where's now number 4? Chucky, John Gruden.
All right. Okay.
He was my honorable mention. There it is.
Not expecting that.
John Harbaugh.
Okay.
Mike McCarthy. And Mike Tomlin.
All right.
That's a good.
All right. John, you got a different list?
I do, besides one. So we'll go. I'll go 4, 3, 2, 1. Correct. I guess.
Yes, you will.
So Sean McVay, I have a 4th. I have John Harbaugh at 3. Andy Reid. Hold on. I got to figure out where I want to put
Andy John Reid. Just clacks himself real quick. Hold on. Hold on. John, do we have to come back to you in a moment?
Yeah, let me. So no, hold on.
John, go back and think about it. Give yourself 30 seconds. Jordan, in the meantime, why don't you give us your Fired Up 4 right now? Who's your NFL Fired Up 4?
Oh, I'll be honest. When Clack said Gruden, as funny as that is, it's actually really right.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's actually really, really right.
Thank you.
Because that trade a couple years ago, It was awful, but now you're looking at it, I kind of like it because those players are good.
Thank you.
Josh Jacobs?
Thank you.
But, yeah, you know what? Yeah. So I'm having Gruden at 4. I had Tomlin at 4, but I'm going to go Gruden 4.
So Tomlin's off your list?
Yeah, so Tomlin is now 6.
Keep going. We just keep finishing your list. Who's your next?
Harbaugh at 3. And that's because last year, although he had a very good team, very good players, the way he drafted and basically developed that O-line was ridiculous. It's unreal how that O-line is. If it wasn't for that O-line, I would probably have Tomlin in there, but that was just ridiculous. So Andy Reid, he finally got over the hump, and he proved me wrong that offense does win championships. Even though that offense was very, very potent, I thought the Niners' defense was just way too good, and their running game to go with it is also just too tenacious. But, of course, I forgot that Shanahan forgets about the run in the Super Bowl. So, second time in a row. And then, number 1, Pete Carroll.
All right, I knew that was coming.
Knowing Belichick.
I knew that was coming. That was a gimme for you.
Sorry. Oh. If you knew, like sorry.
All right. So, John, do you want to finish up your list real quick?
No, yeah, and I remember I thought of it once we crossed Belichick off because we got so on ourselves about not having any fifths, so I only wrote 4. But I was gonna say Carroll was in there. I'm gonna put Carroll ahead of John Harbaugh, but behind Andy Reid. So I put Andy Reid 1.
All right. Here's mine. You ready? My number 4, Pete Carroll.
I knew it, yeah.
My number 3, Sean McVay.
Sean McVay, huh?
Yeah,
Okay.
Sean McVay.
Okay.
He made Jared Goff into a $100 million quarterback. He's
Okay.
garbage.
And his age and the Rams team that he took over and turned around is insane.
I think he's an offensive mastermind, and you give him a good defensive coordinator and non-players with aging knees and things like that as running back, he'll be pretty good. He doesn't have the weapon, but he had the weapons. They won. When he didn't, they didn't. That's kind of how it worked with him.
Like safety percent is playbooks play action.
True. Number 1, though, is Mike Tomlin. That guy is a first ballot Hall of Fame coach when he retires. I think he won 8 games with Duck Hodges and the guy that got a helmet swung at his head last year.
After week 2.
Yeah.
As with a lot of things, I'm with you there.
He made a lot of Hall of Famers. He made Antonio Brown a Hall of Famer. He made Ben Roethlisberger a Hall of Famer. If Le'Veon Bell stayed a couple more years there, he would have easily made him a Hall of Famer. He's got defensive players. James Harrison's going to be a Hall of Famer. He's got guys. He's a player's coach with his X's and O's are maybe not the greatest in the world, but he's a leader of men. And to me, that's what Belichick is, and that's what he is. Belichick's better with the X's and O's to go with it, but he's a leader of men, and I think that's a difference. And that's what Pete Carroll is to me. And believe it or not, and John Harbaugh. And Sean McVay, I think, is too. He's young, so it's hard to judge him that way. But the way the older players played for him, it was impressive to me. And they do. They fight the Aaron Donalds, the young guys of the world, or you had the Talibs, these guys that are head cases, Peters. Like, these guys are nuts, and they played hard for a guy that was basically the same age as them. And I think that says something as a head coach in the NFL. Let's go to NBA. John, it's on you, brother. You're going first.
All right. So we'll go – I actually have this one down pretty good, I think. So I have Steve Kerr at 4. The Raptors coach Nick at 3, Eric Spoelstra at 2, and Greg Popovich at 1.
Wow, my list is very similar to yours. I have all the same people as you.
Just different orders.
Wow.
It was really hard for me not to have Brad Stevens and Doc Rivers on my list. I'm going to be very honest. Those are two.
Even as a Lakers fan, Doc Rivers, I was like, man, for what he did to us too. the year my daughter was born, 2008. Like he's amazing, but yeah. So it's funny that made me think.
If he wins this year with the Clippers, that puts him on this list for me. I'll be honest with you. But
yeah, and I had the same logic like with like how we talked about the Rams coach and the Raptors, like kind of newer into their roles, but how they turned the team around. That's kind of why I put him so high up there. I mean, obviously they won the championship last year, but he's kind of a newer coach.
No, I'm gonna go next just because my list, like I said, is the same, so I might as well go next. I got Nick Nurse as number 4. I think he's the most underrated coach in the league by far. Won a championship last year, and John didn't even know his full name to say it. So that says everything right there. He lost Kawhi Leonard, the Finals MVP, the best player on his team, a top 3 or 4 player in the NBA, and their team got better. They didn't replace him with anybody. They literally just lost him off the squad, kept the same team, 1 year older, and got better. That's unbelievable. That's your number 4 head coach in the NBA. Number 3 is Eric Spoelstra. He's got multiple titles with, the Miami Heatles. We know what he did there. But on top of that, he just has the most consistently hard team to play against every year. Doesn't matter what his players are. You could throw in anyone. Now he's got a squad, so look out. They're going to the finals this year, I think. But that's a hot take for another day, I guess. I think what he does, he makes the most out of the least amount, in my opinion, in the league. So he's my number 3.
And on top of that, before you go on with him, he has a winning percentage of .631 after LeBron left. So he's doing pretty well for himself after LeBron left, which is insane.
And after Chris Bosh left and Wade was old. So that's pretty good. Number 2, I got Steve Kerr. You can't win that many titles in the last few years and not be on the list. And I think they're intentional tanking this year and getting the number 2 overall pick. Genius, because that dynasty's got 4 more years to go now, it looks like. And I think he's a player's coach, X's and O's guy. Number 1, I don't know if anyone could have anyone but Coach Pop. Coach Pop's number 1. That's just Coach Pop. I think he's going to be on the Brooklyn Nets. I think he's going to leave San Antonio this year, Jordan. And I think he's going to the Brooklyn Nets. And I think he's going to coach Durant and Kyrie. What do you think of that, Joey Clax?
I think I'll become a Nets fan next year. That's what I think. So, like you said, and like I said, with so many things like you, I agree. Nurse is number 4 for every reason you just stated. He's got a starless team all of a sudden without the main man heading the front. And it's just the best team in basketball with the Raptors this year, right? Just to piss all you guys off, number 3.
Go.
Mike D'Antoni.
That's impressive.
Just to get a rise out of Ethan. Number 2, Steve Kerr, because I mean, three NBA championships, and of course Popovich, because he's.
Can I make a comment on your Mike D'Antoni?
Yeah.
I think Mike D'Antoni's a genius. I think he
specific genius with what?
Offense.
Okay.
The run and gun style that the NBA plays today is based off of what he basically brought in with the Suns. And he didn't always have the right players. He didn't have it down pat yet, but he brought that idea in, and everyone copied him. And then all of a sudden he decided, oh, you're all doing what I'm doing? Cool. Now I'm going to bring a squad of 6, 7, and smaller guys on. And we're going to be the smallest squad in the history of basketball to play. And we're going to play small ball. James Harden's going to be our point guard. Westbrook's our center. Let's go. And I love it.
Maybe he doesn't have the rings yet that Popovich and Kerr has, but, we'll see starting this year.
He only has 1 less than Doc Rivers and Nick Nurse. I mean, that's the way I look at it.
Do you think that Sun season would have been different if Amari and can't think of it
didn't get suspended?
Yeah, who was the other player?
Raja Bell.
Yep.
Was it? No, it wasn't Raja. But do you think that season would have been different if Robert Horry didn't hip check Nash, and that's that series? Do you think the Suns could have gone further or no?
Was Kobe and Shaq on the Lakers?
No, this is after that.
Just Kobe, but
Just Kobe. Oh, Kobe and Gasol. Then no,
Yeah.
it could not have gone further. They could not have. No. I would keep my money on Kobe in that situation. Jordan, who's your 4?
I was trying to find a way to put in Stevens, couldn't do it.
I know. He's my honorable mention. I even
I
have
also
Doc
wanted
as my
to put
honorable
in
mention.
Mr. Donovan, OKC, because I don't know how that team is
That's a great pick.
like. It's just impressive. Like that
Did he win
Steve
Coach of the Year?
just do that on his own.
He should have won Coach of the Year this year for what he did. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Agreed. So I really wanted to put Donovan.
Co-Coach of the Year this year.
Right. So Spoelstra's 4. I have Nurse 3, Kerr 2, Pop 1.
So we all got Kerr and Pop up at the top there. Okay.
Yeah.
What about baseball? Baseball, I think we're going to have some differing opinions here. I just have that thought. Joey Clax, I want to hear your list here. Do you have any honorable mentions?
No, and this was really hard, by the way.
I know. This is by far the hardest one.
Was really, really hard.
You know why? There's a lot of crappy baseball managers right now.
There really are a lot of green, crappy baseball managers.
You're either green, crappy, or amazing. There's like nothing in between.
Exactly. So, in semi no particular order, Dave Martinez with the Nationals for obvious reasons.
He's the defending champion.
Right, and their record does not reflect it at the current moment.
And he doesn't have a lot of head coaching experience.
And he does not, so that he was hard to put in at number 4. Very hard to put in at number 4. Very hard to not put in at number 1, but because of their disgusting, we're about to give away our entire pitching staff record, the Los Angeles Angels, Joe Madden.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Once again, the manager of the Angels, Joe Madden.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to start. I think I'm going to try out for the Angels pitching.
You should, because they're going to need you.
Mm-hmm. He is on my list. I will tell you, Joe Madden is on my list.
So hard to not put him at number 1, but I can't bet with my heart. I have to bet with my brain. David Ross. Okay.
Grandpa Rossi made the list. You know, he's my favorite manager in baseball. I wanted the Mets to get him. I'm glad he's with the Cubs. He is my favorite.
And
my family's favorite.
And number 1, I don't like him, but you have to respect him, Terry Francona.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He's the Indians coach, right?
Yep.
Correct. He's won multiple World Series with the Red Sox. Took the Philadelphia Phillies in 1994 with John Kruk and Darren Daulton to the World Series.
You don't have to like him, but you have to respect him.
Oh yeah, no, he's hurting right now too. He's got like blood clots, and he's been out for. He's probably not coming back right now.
Mm-hmm.
They have Sandy Alomar Jr. as their manager.
But I'll tell you, man, that was tough. That was tough picking for it.
It is. I don't disagree. Jordan, do you want to go next with your list?
Yeah.
Who's the manager of the Mariners? I don't even know his name.
We're not going to talk about that.
Jordan had a rough day today. Let's leave the Mariners.
Hey, we were 1-1 though, so the second game we won. Anyways, so I'm kind of like thinking about the now, not necessarily what happened before. I'm thinking about right now. There's bubbles, very
2020,
different.
baby. 2020, live in the moment.
Exactly. So number 4, they're 12-3 at home. Best record in baseball at home. Mr. Baldelli.
And reigning AL Manager of the Year. Don't forget to mention that. Minnesota Twins.
So got the Twins 4. A team who I'm not necessarily I was raised to like them, but after being all fired up, I kind of have a little bad taste. Mr. Roberts with the Dodgers.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Jordan.
I have to tell you how hard I disagree with Dave Roberts being on the list, not because I hate Jonathan, just because I think he has not taken that team over the hump yet, and it's ridiculous that he hasn't with the squad that they have. They're on pace, if this was a full season right now, for it's like a 130-win season almost, 128 games or something.
The only
they don't win
reason
this year, he should get fired.
I think they might do it this year, just because this kind of.
John, you heard me? Fire him if they don't.
That's the reason he didn't make my list, was because he can't get over the hump, and until he gets
With
over
that
the hump,
team.
he can't be on the list. With
But I
every
mean, so-
team, with every team, he's always got a team. Did you see
So
me
I-
put a Yankees manager on the list? No, because they always have a team to manage. Get over the hump, win a championship.
So after this year, he's going to be after this season, he's going to be the Andy Reid that we talk about.
Okay.
No, he hasn't been coaching for 30 years and finally win. He's been there for like 4 years, and Don Mattingly sucks. And
Wow. I didn't put Don Mattingly or Joe Girardi on the list, for crying out
well,
loud.
they suck.
Exactly. That's the point.
Joe Girardi had 10 years as Yankee manager, and he won 1 chip. That's like
my
one of the
point.
worst percentages ever.
That's my point.
What Yankees manager gets 10 years and wins 1 chip? Steinbrenner would have had him out after 4 years. He would have been gone. That's why these baby Steinbrenners are no good. He had A-Rod, Jeter, Teixeira. I mean, he had a squad. Pettit, Clemens. I mean, that team was raw. And 1 chip? I'm so glad the Mets didn't hire him. Let him go to the Phillies, because the Phillies will not win a chip if they have Joe Girardi. I'm not saying he's horrible, but he's not that good. He's not that good.
But I digress. Go AJ Pollock. Go Dodgers.
Yeah. Continue, Jordan. Sorry to jump on Dave Roberts, but that guy does not.
My final 2 now. I'm gonna be honest with you. This 4 is honestly kind of I got my eye on them. I'm thinking, top 4. They'll be the last 4 left when everything's said and done. So there's gonna be 1 more AL, 1 more NL. 2, kind of witness today, Mr. Tingler. Padres. I like what they're doing. They're doing some things.
I was going
I
through a
think
list.
they're the only
earlier.
team, in my opinion, that's stopping the Dodgers from doing what they got to do.
I was going through a list earlier of all the managers with a good buddy of mine, and we were looking together, and I didn't know the name of the manager of the Padres, and then she said the name of the Padres, and I was like, I still don't know who that is. I didn't know that like AAA, AA. No, that's the Padres. I was like, oh, good to know. It's another one of those green managers, but all right, you got him number 2 as best managers in all of baseball because of a 2-week stretch in the bubble right now. Okay, and number 1.
Well, I know John left. Oh, there he is. Okay, I didn't think you wanted to see what I was going to say. But anyways, that team behind Clax, man. I was impressed by wasn't it the best Yankee start all time, damn near, this year? I got Mr. Cashman.
Wow.
They've got injuries, so you got Aaron Boone at number 1.
I want to see Yankees, Dodgers.
Wow.
That's what I want to see this year.
Why? For these 2 fools sitting next to us? Come on. Get out.
No, because of all the years to reach it, a 60-game season. How would that, with that bittersweet taste of, we have a title, but 60 games worth? But it's still yours.
Can I tell you what my problem? Can I tell you what my problem is? Here's my problem with it. I foresee the Yankees winning 2 chips in the next 4 to 5 years. I do. I see. I hate saying, Clax knows. I just.
He doesn't like saying that.
I didn't eat dinner before this because I didn't want anything to come. I don't like saying, but I honestly feel for 2 reasons they're going to win 2 out of the next 4 years. I just don't want it to be this year. I do want the Dodgers to go to the World Series this year.
And you want to see them lose.
I do, but I can't have them lose to the Yankees. I can't be cheering for the Yankees. And if that's the case, I cheer for the Dodgers in the World Series. And I don't want to cheer for the Dodgers in the World Series because I can't be cheering with John. I can't do it. We can't be cheering for Kershaw together. So,
but who are they going to?
The next 2 years. But this year, we got to get another AL team in there to sneak one out.
Who, the Twins? Who are they going to lose to in the AL?
We're going to get to that in our baseball segment in a little bit.
All right.
Is it up to me now? Is it my list? Is everybody?
Yes.
All right, here we go. Honorable mention, Aaron Boone. He's very close to being my number 4. He should be my number 4. I'm going to make it Grandpa Rossi because of my love for him. But Aaron Boone, what he did last year was unbelievable. They had, 35 DL guys at one, rotating through. He lost every one of his starters. He made minor leaguers into all-stars. Voit, Urshela. I mean, Sanchez decided to play for real finally. Unbelievable to me. That's 1. But Grandpa Rossi, I think he's going to take the Cubs to a whole new level. I've been waiting for him to get there. He's amazing. I can't talk more about Grandpa Rossi. We'll talk about him with the Cubs when we get to the next segment. Number 3, Tito Francona. I agree with Clax. Terry Francona, class act. What he's done with Boston, what he's done with Cleveland. He's been just an amazing manager since the 90s. He's just everything we said about him. Number 2, Joe Madden. I think Joe Madden, he's won the chip with the Cubs. He also was taking the Rays when they were still the Devil Rays to the playoffs when that team had no business going anywhere. I think he's a top-line coach, and I think they could get some pitching in Anaheim. Oh, my God, what he can do with that team is going to be unbelievable. Ready for my number 1? None of you guys mentioned my number 1, even on your list. He's my number 1.
Is he in the AL or no?
AL. West.
In the Bay Area?
West.
Oh.
On a team you hate. His name is Dusty Baker.
Dusty
Baker.
Oh, BS.
Dusty Baker is – get out of here. Dusty Baker's won 1,813 games as a Major League Baseball manager. Dusty Baker has taken how many teams to the World Series? A lot. He's taken the San Francisco Giants with Bonds. Who was the manager during the Bartman Cubs game? Dusty Baker, taking that team to the NLCS. That guy wins games everywhere he goes. He was put in the worst situation in baseball to go manage this year and be on the Astros. They have injuries, out the wazoo. And now look at that team. They're like 4 or 5 games over 500, and they're going to go into the playoffs and probably make some noise, in my opinion, especially if Verlander comes back in a month. Or in a week, like they're saying he might be coming back. So that's what I got. That's what I got for my list. I don't know. You guys hate on Dusty Baker? What's your thought, Jordan?
I actually love it. I've never met a Dusty Baker. Any reason to talk about Barry Bonds, I'm down. So I'm not mad at all. My man Jonathan, I want to hear his list though.
Yeah, John, what do you got, brother? What is your list?
So I like that we don't have 5s, but we have honorable mentions. I like how we swung that into our list. So
well, it's just an honorable mention. It's not always, but sometimes, like, I wanted Aaron Boone on my list, but
all right. Well, I'm gonna go with a tie in my list then.
No ties. I told you. You gotta have an honorable mention to the 4.
No, you can't draw these fake lines.
I absolutely can. Who created the segment Fired Up 4? This guy did. And I said there's no ties. So just like in baseball, there's no ties. Sports with ties are stupid. Sorry, Jordan. I know you like soccer.
Hey.
I don't like them. I don't like ties. So who's your honorable mention? Who's the first guy you're going to mention?
Joe Madden is going to be honorable mention. Since he was going to be one of my ties, I'll just put him in honorable.
Your honorable mention at number 5. Who's your number? Let's start your list now. Who do you got?
4 is Aaron Boone.
Okay.
3 is Bob Melvin.
Oakland A's.
The A's. Yep.
Great pick. Another guy that's taking little and making it into – it's amazing. He's an underrated manager for absolutely a great one.
Absolutely is. And then, I know we like to talk about ring or championships, but I think Brian Snitker from the Braves is a really great manager. I'm going to go with him as 2, and then Dave Roberts as 1.
What has he done? What has Brian Snitker done? What has he done?
I think but what were the Braves before he came around? Before, like, there's the Chipper Jones.
I don't know. They won
era.
a lot of division championships over the Mets every year. They seem to be better than us, but I don't know.
There was like
That's
Chipper
right,
Jones.
I said it.
And then,
I caught myself. Sorry. Go.
Yeah, there was like Chipper Jones, and then there was the dark era, and then he came around, and now he pulled them and made them relevant.
That dark era lasted like 2 years, though. Do you want to know a great story? Brian Snitker, so he's the manager of the 2020 Braves, right? Do you know he was Chipper Jones' A-ball manager in 1990?
Wow.
That's how long he's been in that organization and finally got called up to be the manager of the big leagues. I got no hate on Brian Snitker. I don't know if I'd make him the second best manager in baseball, but considering they have a pretty good team, I would hope that they'd win some games with Ronald Acuna, Albies. Well, now they got injuries, though, which we'll get into the next segment. We'll talk some injuries. But
yeah, and then obviously Davey Roberts at 1.
Wait, what did you say?
Davey Roberts at 1?
Obviously?
Obviously.
Obviously. Okay, just
obviously, and we're taking it all the way this year.
Yeah, okay, all the way until we see that face at the end of the day. Crying Jordan face wearing his Dodgers jersey.
Until the game matters.
Listening. All right, let's transition to baseball here. We're at the halfway point. We could kind of talk about midseason MVPs, midseason best pitchers, Cy Young. Just some fun teams that I've been watching lately. The White Sox and the Padres. Two teams that are just weren't expected to make too much noise this year. They were maybe 1 year away, everyone was saying. And you guys seem to all be Padre lovers. Any of you want to go talk about the Padres? Jordan, John, I keep hearing Padres. They're led by my personal first half MVP in baseball, Fernando Tatis. Leads all of baseball, 12 homers, 29 RBIs, 29 runs, 6 for 6 stealing bases, 0 errors playing a sparkling shortstop. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, sorry, Clax, you want to go first?
No, all I know was Manny Machado hit 3 home runs today. That's all I know.
Funny how he's not even the best player on that side of the infield right now, making $300 million. Unreal. What do you think, John?
Yeah, I mean, Tatis is NL MVP reigning. If he keeps it up, absolutely. And it's a weird kind of situation to be in. I like how exciting he's making baseball, how exciting the Padres are making baseball, but they are in the Dodgers division. With the way things are kind of shaking up, like right now the Dodgers have 9 losses. 4 of them are to the Giants and 3 of them are to the Padres. Do I want to go into a 3-game series with either of those teams and feel comfortable? No. That's right now. It's very scary. I mean, we beat the Giants today, but the Giants have us sometimes, like when it comes down to it, they somehow pull it out against us.
You know what?
Somehow.
You know why? Because one of the players I want to talk about is one of my early season MVPs. It's not, Tatis is number 1, but under him is a couple guys, and one of them is the grandson of the Hall of Famer Carl Yastrzemski. His name is Mike Yastrzemski.
Their center fielder.
Do you hear about Mike Yastrzemski a lot in New York?
No.
Yeah. The guy's a stud. He's batting .309, slash line .429, 645. Leads the league in extra base hits with 20. He's got 23 walks. Leads the league in that as well. Plays an all-star Gold Glove style outfield. He came up at 29 years old last year as a rookie. Very old for a rookie. 30 years old this year, and it's like he hit his prime right off the bat. And Mike Yastrzemski, remember that name? Carl Yastrzemski, and I love him. Mike Yastrzemski.
Oh. I've been watching him. He robbed Justin Turner of a home run today with that glove. He's insane, and that's what's scary about the 3-game wild card, whatever first round of the MLB expanded playoffs is. We could play the Giants, we could play the Padres. I don't feel comfortable playing either of them like they're going to be an easy win at all.
As a Dodger fan, you should be plenty comfortable playing the Giants right now. I'm sorry. If you're not,
they have the most.
Who's their pitcher in that 3-game series? Give me their 3 pitchers in the 3-game series.
I don't even know. Do you think
that's my point? You can't even name their pitchers. I can name Walker Buehler, Clayton Kershaw, Dustin May. No, that's the number 4 pitcher for the Dodgers would be the ace for the Giants. Like, there's no way that lineup is. There's no way that's a sweep if they play the Giants. It's the Padres. I'd be a little bit more nervous. That's for sure. What about John's boy Jordan, Mookie Betts? Mookie Betts comes over to the Dodgers, and I'm not letting John talk about it either. I'm specifically going to somebody else on this one. Mookie Betts comes over to the Dodgers, 28 games. He has 11 home runs, batting .300, playing a Gold Glove defense. Worth the money? Worth it all?
Yes, he is worth the money. And I believe that he will capitalize on this kind of throwaway season, if you will. And
not for the Dodgers. This could be their chip. It's not a throwaway for them.
See, that's the thing. Mentally right now, it's a throwaway. So there will never be less pressure in the season than this year. And I think a team like the Dodgers will capitalize on that because every time they get to October, they are just ishing bricks. Like, they are literally nervous, scared. They know what happens if they lose, and if they lose and this happens, and because they lost, it's going to be like this and that and third. So then they're playing not to lose to then lose.
And they don't have to worry about the crowd. Yeah, they're not playing in front of a crowd either. No crowd. That's a big difference. No, but much less.
Exactly. But I do want to talk about Mr. Tatis Jr. I mean, I couldn't help it because, there's not much praise with the Mariners these days. So when we had him, 06 batting with us, I was pretty confident talking mess. And then I saw him hit a home run 448 feet. And it went out of the stadium. And the second he hit it, he just literally looked the other way. And then I saw Machado do the same thing right after that. And that's when I realized, these Padres really are who they've said they've been and they've shown to be.
They got swag, man. They really do. They got
very
Will Myers as a player, too.
And I want to be specific about today, too. Not only did they score 7 runs in the bottom of the 7th, first doubleheader game, so, bottom of the 9th, if you will, all of those runs happened with 2 outs. 3 of those runs happened when the batter had 2 strikes to end the game. So
remember when the Yankees used to do that back in the day?
Right.
That used to be no, seriously, the Yankees MO back in the day, they'd work the pitchers to get 2 strikes every time, and then they'd come up and they'd get these clutch 2-out, 2-strike hits. Scott Brocious, Paul O'Neill. I hated those teams, don't get me wrong. But it didn't matter who came up. They all did it when they had that squad. It was unbelievable. And you're right. It's the same thing going on. But I appreciate that kind of baseball. It's just clutch hitting. I mean, it's professional baseball. It's amazing.
And we asked in the chat, can the Dodgers beat the Padres? And when I was watching that, that's the Mariners bullpen. I think the Dodgers can weather that storm. I really do. I mean, can they match the Mariners batting? Yeah, I think they can. But they definitely, bullpen-wise, they can definitely exceed Mariners.
The only way the Dodgers are losing is if they beat themselves at this point. It's kind of the same thing as the Yankees.
But when has that not happened, though? So
no, I'm saying that it's less about the Padres beating the Dodgers to me and more about the Dodgers just doing what they're supposed to do and staying in their lane. If they could have 3 of their best players have crappy series and then have their number 6 and 7 hitters could be – who's batting 6 and 7 right now for the Dodgers?
Oh, today for the second part of it was Pollock and Lutz.
Right, and any one of those guys could come up and have a clutch series and lead your team to the next
And
round.
Jordan, the last time we didn't beat ourselves was 2017. I want to say that. So thank you.
I was in LA for that first year. Sorry.
Bang your trash cans, Flax.
Hey, can we go back to ragging on Mookie Betts for a second?
Sure.
So can we Alex Verdugo, right? So
yeah, he's doing pretty good too.
So he's batting .291, 5 home runs, 12 RBIs. What's Mookie's stat line? How many home runs? How many RBIs?
He's got 11 home runs, and I believe he's got 20-something RBIs.
Okay.
I'll find out exactly for you, but I'm pretty sure it's
is he?
If you look up Mookie Betts RBIs, what's Mookie Betts working with? We'll find that out in a second. But Mookie Betts, yeah, he's also playing a Gold Glove defense, and Verdugo wasn't playing every day for a while.
No, Verdugo plays a meatballs parm defense. But
yeah, and he's picking up though. The last 2 weeks, Verdugo's been. I've took him on my fantasy squad right now. He's doing all right. But you know who he's not doing as well as?
Who that?
Kyle Lewis. We've been hearing about him from our Mariners fan here on the show. Right now at the halfway point, the slash line looks like this. 368 average, 456 with an OBP of 585 with 7 home runs, 19 RBIs, and 18 walks. That's pretty good. It's actually very good. And it's, in my opinion, he's in the top 2 or 3 for MVP in the American League right now, as well as just ahead of Luis Roberts for Rookie of the Year as well. Any disagreement there from anybody?
No, I just want to say Mookie's batting. His average right now is 293.
Oh, he must have went down in this doubleheader. He came into today batting 300.
And how many ribbies does he have?
Because That's the question we asked you to find.
I'm going to tell you, my guy, he's down to 350 batting average, Mr. Kyle Lewis, but he got a home run.
Another home run today, so now he's got 8 home runs.
2 RBIs, 2 stolen bases.
Hey man, I did my stats at like 3 o'clock in the morning last night. I'm not gonna lie. So things went last night, but that's what they were as of last night when I was up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Like, you know what I need to do? I need to start prepping for all fired up right now.
But I'll let you know after today, this first turn at bats, best start ever, Mariners all time.
And that includes
13 homers, 32 RBIs. Yeah.
That's better than Ichiro's MVP season in 2001.
Mookie has 24 RBIs, 5 stolen bases,
and a Gold Glove defense. So no, the better part of that trade is definitely Mookie Betts. But the Red Sox did snag a great player in Verdugo. I agree.
It sounds like the Red Sox got the better deal in that trade.
I want to talk about the Red Sox. You know, there's a lot of injuries in baseball. I could talk about Chris Sale from the Red Sox being one of the ones at the beginning with Tommy John. He kind of started the injury bug. You want to hear some pitchers that are out right now, and just pitchers alone that are out for pretty much the whole year. You got Verlander. You got who's the ace of the Astros. These are aces that are out. Verlander, the ace of the Astros. Severino, well, I guess he's the second pitcher now that Cole's with the Yankees, but he was the ace of the Yankees. You got Thor, Noah Syndergaard, the number 2 with the Mets. Steven Strasburg, the ace of the Washington Nationals. Mike Soroka tore his Achilles, ace of the Braves, out for the season. Shohei Ohtani, done pitching for the Angels. He's their number 1. Corey Kluber, the number 1 for the Texas Rangers, out for the season. We got Morton, Tampa Bay, their number 1. Charlie, he's out. He's done. Osuna, the closer for the Astros, done for the season. And most important injury of the entire season, Clax is going to agree with this. Homer Bailey, out for the season.
Most important injury of the season.
I know. This might be it for him. He might not come back, but then again, he's always come back.
Career ender, and he will be back.
Exactly.
To torment me.
I want to mention 2 more players. Best pitcher in baseball so far. Is there anyone that's against Bieber fever? And Shane Bieber right now in Cleveland, 5-0, an ERA of 1.11. He has 65 strikeouts in his 6 starts so far. His K per 9 is 14.9.
Is he on a contract year too this year?
No, I think they got at least 1 more year with him.
Okay.
That's a great pitching staff. Him, Clevenger.
They're getting rid of Clevenger, I thought.
He just came back.
But didn't they say they were like, the team was like, they wanted to let go of him and whoever he went out with?
Yeah, then they remembered that they have him for 3 more years at a really low salary, and he's probably going to win a Cy Young in the next couple of years. So they decided, we're going to forgive him and bring him back to our team. And now he pitched, I believe today he pitched, or last night. I'm not sure what he did. We could look that up. One more mention I want to name on offense. I can't believe I forgot about him already. He's 40 years old. Tell me who this is. He's 40 years old playing in the major leagues right now. He's batting .340. He has 11 home runs. What am I talking about? He's going to be in the Hall of Fame, guys, and no one's talking about him. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame. American League Central. His name is Nelson Cruz. Put some respect on his name. Nelson Cruz, again, just comes out. He's led the league in RBIs. He's led the league in home runs. He's a 300-plus hitter. The guy just puts up stats, and he's 40 years old, and he's still doing it. He's doing it in Minnesota. He's doing it. It's unbelievable. And to me, he deserves some respect, and we should be talking about him at the halfway point. He could end up with 20 home runs in the 60-game bubble at 40. Clax, you just had a big birthday this week. That should give you hope. He's basically your age, stroking 11 home runs.
That's scary.
Right? I mean,
that's scary.
I mean, you could go to 11 games and watch him hit home runs, but for him to play in 11 games and hit home runs, unbelievable. We could transition to some basketball and finish off the show here, guys. I said we'd talk a little basketball. We got the second round about to approach us. I mean, do we think any surprises in the first round? Jordan, do you see anything happening in the Milwaukee-Orlando? Is that going to Orlando going to win 3 in a row, or that's over? What do you think here for these first round series?
I don't see that. I will admit I was surprised the Heat swept the Pacers. Even, one game would have been impressive. But the fact that they got swept, just
Shows how good the Heat are. Eric Spoelstra.
yes, and it's a very, very big statement. And
Duncan
it kind of
Robinson.
tells me that everybody should be nervous for the Heat because the Pacers aren't a bad team, but I feel like let me think about this.
Who do the Heat play next round?
Bucks. They're the most dominant,
That's
I would say.
John, there it is. I'm with you. I'm with you, John.
I would say they're the
John,
most
I'm with you.
dominant.
I'm jumping on the train. I'm jumping on the train, John. I'm going second round upset. Bucks are out to the Heat. You heard it. I'm going for it. 7 games, 6, maybe 7. Most likely 7. I'm going Heat over Bucks second round. Jordan, am I crazy?
You're not crazy at all. The Heat mean business, and the Bucks. If you can't sweep the Magic, I can't say you can definitively beat the Heat.
They're going to throw Jimmy Butler at him up top, and then Bam and the big guys. And they don't have a lot of size. That's the one thing against the Heat that where like when they play the Raptors, they just throw these big guys down low when Giannis comes in like a wall. They got Bam and Haslam might get some minutes actually in this series just to be a big guy down there.
I don't think Giannis alone can beat them, and I think that's the problem with the Heat. I think the Heat are probably going to say, beat us, Giannis.
Yeah, because Brook Lopez is shooting like garbage right now. He's a shell of himself. The other Lopez brother, because they're twins, maybe that's why he's playing bad. They got to do what each other does. They feel that twin thing. I don't know, but he's doing nothing. Middleton, he's good. He's not taking over as your number 2 when you need him to, though, in my opinion. Clax, you see this upset in the second round?
Bucks in 6.
Bucks in 6. Staying to it. You got the Bucks in the finals?
I have the Bucks in the Eastern Conference Finals losing to the Celtics.
Okay, so I was going to get to that
The
series.
Celtics beat the Raptors.
So we're going to get to that in 1 second. Johnny, you sticking with your Bucks losing in the second round?
Oh, yeah, they're going to lose.
How many games?
I'm going to go in 6.
6? Okay, just checking. John staying strong. He's a man of commitment. Let's go with the other series then, which I think is going to be an amazing series. Celtics-Raptors. Jordan, I want to start with you.
I really wish Gordon Hayward would be able to play, man. I feel so bad for him. It's weird because he's not playing. I can't just say, Celtics will win. I can't just say that because, like, the Raptors, they're –
So you don't think that – so realistically, Gordon Hayward's their number 4. Gordon Hayward's their number 4.
Celtics in 6.
Celtics in 6. That's what I thought. I mean, because if you think about it, it's you got Kemba still running the show at the point. You got your MVP candidate or top 7 MVP candidate, Tatum. And then Jaylen Brown can play. Like, Jaylen Brown is underrated. He can play. And to me, that makes Hayward your 4.
That whole team is underrated.
They are. As individuals and as a squad, and their head coach is underrated.
I was about to say, you can't be outcoached when you have Brad Stevens. So
you got Celtics.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, Toronto's just really, really good coach. But when it gets to, like, the semis and the finals, it really comes down to the players. All coaches are good at that point, essentially, to get to the second round. So you can't get outcoached, in my opinion, Celtics. So, yeah, Celtics in 6. I don't think Toronto really has that power to just fight against them. I wouldn't be surprised for 7, but Celtics in 6.
Okay, Joey Clax.
Toronto or Celtics in 7.
Celtics in 7. Okay, just like that. John?
Celtics in 5.
Wow. Okay.
I love it.
So am I the
Authority.
I guess I'm the only.
And I'm saying Celtics in 7 because, like, Toronto's going to give them. It's going to be an amazing series.
I'm going to go with my prediction here. I'm wearing the jersey for a reason today.
No way.
I'm going to take the Raptors. And I'll be honest, I don't know why. Other than that, maybe, like, I don't know why they win. I don't know how they win. I don't get it. I'll be very honest. I don't get it. But They won the championship last year. Their head coach, like I said, I think these are, I mean, honestly, they're probably the 4 best head coaches in the East are going to be the ones left, which is pretty cool if you think about it. Budenholzer, Brad Stevens, Nick Nurse. I mean, these are the best coaches in the East. And I think I had no reason to think that Toronto's going to lose. They haven't lost this year in big games. Somehow Lowry, who I have no faith in, is making big plays. Clax's boys shooting half-court shots. Fred VanVleet.
Love him. I
know you do. I don't know. There's just some feeling I have that I think it's going to be Raptors in 7, maybe 6, but most likely 7. I think, though, the Celtics should win. Jordan, I'm with you. I think the Celtics should win. But I don't think they're going to. I just don't. I don't know why. The Nick Nurse, he's got to lose. He's got to lose for me to feel like he's going to lose at this point. It was kind of like the Warriors. Until they lose, I don't believe it. I feel the same way. What about the West? The Clippers are still playing out there against the Mavericks, 3-2. Do you think the Mavericks have a chance?
No, only because my man, I can't believe. Oh, Luka left the bubble, so it's done.
Oh, he did?
It's done. Yeah, Luka left the bubble. You got to check up on an injury, so they're done. They're out.
What?
Oh, I didn't know that. Breaking
I do
news.
not have faith.
Dude, the light turned purple behind you when you just said that.
I know.
Wow.
Yeah, they're surprised too. But honestly, it's definitely it's kind of a wrap. Honestly, I
didn't know that he was out. If Porzingis might not have been placed. So yeah, it's done. I didn't need that. We don't need to talk about it. So Clippers are on to the next round. So who are the Clippers going to be playing in the next round, Jordan?
So who is that? That is, let's see, 3-6, 3-6, 3. Oh,
is that
Utah?
I was just saying, is that the Denver? Well, we don't know if it's Utah. It could be Denver still.
It will be Utah. It's 3-2 right now. It's 3-2.
Yeah, Utah's up, but I mean, I think Denver has to bring out the secret weapon. They haven't even been playing them.
They're not going to do it.
Bol. Bring out Bol.
I do not see Utah losing 3 games in a row.
Why? Because they're so great?
Donovan Mitchell, the way he's been playing, he can't there's no way he can there's no way you let that happen. But at the same time,
Utah and the Clippers in the second round?
Yes, but at the same time, I don't want to talk about this anymore. Talking about Utah just makes me sick.
I was going to say, let me put in my 2 cents on this. I don't care.
Thank you.
I don't care.
Utah Clippers.
What do the Clippers play? Either it doesn't matter. The Clippers play the winner. Cool. The Clippers going to beat whoever wins.
How many?
Clippers going to beat whoever wins in 6.
Jordan, I think it's going to be Clippers in 5.
All I know is it's going to be 3-1, and the Clippers may take a game off, or they may want to seal it. So I'm with both.
That's when they win it, and they become 5.
And you know how it goes. Everyone's lazy game 5. If you're up 3-1, they're always that way. But yeah.
But Paul George isn't sad anymore, so it should be okay.
Hey, honorable mention to Paul George coming out and just going off, by the way.
Yeah, he said, I'm happy now. I'm not sad anymore. Look what he did.
Like 1 out of, 7 games?
So far.
I'm just saying, we were talking about it. The guy did nothing, then he went off. And then I believe he cried about being sad. But I missed that. I'm not really sure. Can somebody fill me in on that? Did I miss something? Was Paul George sad?
Yeah, he had depression and I'm not making fun of mental health. Don't get me wrong. I
No, but I missed this. Fill me in.
Yeah, basically he said being in the bubble has been really depressing, and I'm
sure it is.
And that's why his game's been off, because he hasn't been focused. And I guess he got some good FaceTimes a couple of days before, and it got him happy again, and he's feeling positive. And yeah, I mean, no, mental health. I mean, I couldn't imagine being locked away from your family for months and months and not knowing whatever. But I guess if you get paid millions of dollars, it makes it a little easier, I would hope.
I went fishing in the ocean the other day. It wasn't stocked for me. These guys get paid millions of dollars to go fishing in stocked ponds and,
What is the biggest fish you caught, Clax?
It was like this big. He's going fishing. He's catching fish this big.
Tell our radio listeners how big that is.
Oh my God, it's like this big. People listening,
It's at least that big. You
it's
should
at
see
least
it.
that big.
Huge.
Oh my
I don't wanna
God!
be trapped. I do not want to be trapped at Disney World. That's all I'll say.
Listen,
Who's
I'm
gonna?
not. I'm
I got
not-
a question.
I'm-
Clax, wait, Clax. I got a question before we even get any further.
yes.
Rockets and Oklahoma City, they're still playing, right?
Yeah, they're still playing, which makes no sense to me whatsoever.
Are the Rockets going to pull this off, or are they going to lose?
Which makes no sense to me whatsoever. I'm going to pinch myself, make sure I'm not dreaming, because this doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever.
What are you thinking here? You think they're gonna do this? Are the OKC going to pull the upset?
It must be that thing Jordan said that Westbrook wasn't playing, and then Westbrook all of a sudden has to play, and then I saw that he wasn't wearing his Iron Maiden shirt anymore. He was wearing a jersey all of a sudden, and now he had like a couple more days to rest. So now he's gonna play. So it's gonna be Houston in 6.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was.
They're going to win
saying.
2 straight.
Yeah,
John, you agree with that?
yeah, because they're home now because they're in Houston. Yeah, so
Yeah, if Westbrook is in, it's Houston in 6.
All right, I can't disagree with any of
I
that.
say Houston in 7.
Okay, that's fine. That's the same thing, basically.
There might be a game where Westbrook might be like that old Westbrook where he just keeps throwing stuff up. 1
He
for
doesn't do
8.
that anymore. That's old Westbrook. This is 2.0. Lakers, Blazers. Lakers going to put him away with no Lillard. I mean,
Oh, yeah. We moved past that. Lakers Rockets, though.
that Lakers Rockets is a series. I wish it was Rockets Clippers because I would take the Rockets if they were against the Clippers. I can't take the Rockets against the Lakers. I don't think. I can't. They're gonna get bullied. Like,
Yeah.
who's covering LeBron?
wait, Lakers Rockets. Who's covering LeBron?
Yeah,
PJ Tucker?
who's covering AD?
Who cares?
Rocket fans care. I want to know who's
We're
covering
going to shoot around it.
6'11" AD. Who's
Oh,
covering him?
why don't you call Sean Connery, ask him for Mike D'Antoni's phone number, and we'll ask him.
007. I made the call. I got his wife on the phone on his birthday, his 90th birthday. She said he wasn't available to talk.
Oh, boo!
Best I could do. I had it filmed.
This is
If he would have
bogus.
got on the phone, I would have played it for everyone this week. I promise. Happy 90th, though, Mr. 007, Sean Connery.
The rapist.
I'm going to bring an end to our show today. We got any final thoughts? Joey Clax. Actually, Joey Clax, give me your final thought. Let me hear it.
I guess my final thought has a little something to do with the New York Football Giants, who apparently decided that they might take the red shirt off their little mincy quarterback, which doesn't make any sense to me because there's 2.5 weeks until football starts and we're still wearing red shirts.
Yeah,
and not
the season starting soon, right?
you might want to just, maybe tap your quarterback and let him know the season's about to start in 2 weeks. I'm just
How many
saying.
injuries in week 1, Jordan? How many injuries? Woo. How many pulled hamstrings, torn groins, quad?
I guess it doesn't matter, right? Because the season's not going to end, so it's barely going to start, so it doesn't really make a difference. But
It'll start, it's just not going to finish.
can we just get into football shape? It just doesn't make any sense to me. That's the whole point of the preseason,
You know
right?
who's in football shape? This guy's quads right here.
There's nothing right about it at all. So that's my final thought. Nothing's right about it.
John.
I just want to go off like what you said in the beginning of the podcast. We support what's right here on the podcast, and no matter how much we love sports and how much it distracts us and everything, I will always support the players and everything that they choose to do. I hate seeing when players try to make a stand and you see fans being like, I didn't watch this to get political. It's like, you know what? They're people, and I'm going to support the players no matter what they do 100% of the time.
I always support millionaires over billionaires. That's just a personal thing about me, but okay.
I like that.
Yeah, always. Jordan?
Well, we missed the anniversary yesterday. 8 years ago yesterday, Russell Wilson made his first start. So Salute to that man. Beat all the odds, Mr. Yeah, come on. Thank you. Mr. Matt Flynn. He was a Packers QB. We signed him for millions, and we chose Russell Wilson. Carroll.
Do you remember why you signed him?
Currently playing. What?
Do you remember why you signed him to all that money?
Matt Flynn.
Because he had an amazing couple of games.
No. He played a garbage game week 17 because they sat out Aaron Rodgers, and he had 6 touchdowns in one game.
Yes, he did.
And they gave him like $30 million guaranteed.
Yeah.
And he never played a snap.
You know what? We gave him. That's the thing about Pete Carroll. We'll pay you the money, but still, you got to come in and earn your spot. You can have the money, but you have to earn the spot and the time.
That's a horrendous.
He did not earn the time to the point where he never started a game for us. Russell Wilson started, and game 2, he played Arizona in Arizona, lost that game. Never lost in Arizona since. Never.
Well, who loses in Arizona? I mean,
exactly.
At this point.
We don't.
The Packers sometimes.
The bye week every time.
I don't have a picture of it right now, but my final thought, I spent a couple nights this week, actually one night, mainly almost 2, watching one of my favorite sporting events of the summer. Every summer since 1991 was my first one I probably watched, which was SummerSlam. And that was Hulk Hogan versus Earthquake back then. Good times. Things are different now. But what I want to bring up about SummerSlam that blew my mind and what every sport needs to follow moving forward is the LED experience they put around the Thunderdome they created in Orlando Stadium. They made a tiered LED wall that literally felt like you were there. Not only did they do that, they had people live fed from their homes. You could pay for a ticket in that seat, and you could be there, and you're live throughout the whole thing. Great idea, great concept. You do, though, WWE need to have someone filtering it because, A, they put Chris Benoit's face up there for the whole episode, who's a dead wrestler who killed his family. Not a good thing. And secondly, someone decided to put on a KKK hood and have signs going the whole time. And it was live on pay-per-view. I mean, everyone got to see it on the WWE Network. So great concept. The production team, Clax, we know one of the guys. His name's Chris P. You know him. We did sound with him. He's doing sound with them. It's unbelievable the production they're doing over there. Thank God someone's working in production these days. That's what I'm basically trying to get down to. These guys in production, A+, and everyone in sports. NBA's doing it pretty well. They took the NBA's LED walls to the next level. Baseball should do it. Invest in your stadiums. I know it's only 60 games, 30 home games, but they could have invested in these LED walls and made it look so cool. And that's all I'm going to say. Also, welcome back, Roman Reigns. Okay, I'm done. That's the rest of my talk. I haven't said anything about WWE since we came back, so I had to get one thing in there. That's it, Clax. I got it in. It in. It's not even that I'm going to be Hulk Hogan for Halloween this year. But whatever. We'll get to that in October.
I hope you feel better.
It was necessary. It's about our people, Clax. Our production crew is what that's about.
Yes, it is.
And restaurants are coming back. Bars and gyms are opening. You know what's not coming back? Concerts for another year. So all those people that are out of work, those essential workers in my life, just sending out some love to you. That's all. I know Joey Clax is as well. All right. Well, that's it for this week. Fired up. We'll be back soon. Listen to us, Spotify, Apple Music. Big news. We're on Apple Podcasts now. We're making moves. I guess we have enough listeners, which is pretty awesome. I think it's all because of the Joey Clax fan base, but whatever. We'll take it however we have.
Must be.
Yeah. The fan club is going nuts for this guy. He's married, though, ladies. He's married. That's all I'm going to say. Have a great week. We'll see you next time. Woo!